Ayos. Tulungan mo, nahihirapan eh. Hindi na. Tulungan na kita, ha?
Malakas ka talaga sa akin, Jason. Ikaw lang ang pwedeng mag-take out ang babae dito.
The girl who sold herself for money and the consequences. Risa was a sugar baby, introduced to Jackson by a well-known matchmaker.
Magkukulang ba ako?
He's the only man who can bring any girl here to her knees, the matchmaker half-joked as she introduced Jackson to Risa. From the very first glance, Jackson was hooked. Her innocent eyes, her fresh, naive demeanor, it all made her even more irresistible to him. Jackson was a regular at this place, well-versed in the game, while Risa was new to the sugar baby world, inexperienced, unaware of the tricks men like him played. After a brief conversation, Jackson invited Risa out. As they walked together, Risa curiously asked, "Do you really like me?" Jackson smirked, his eyes unreadable. A man like him knew exactly what women wanted to hear. "Of course, I'm serious," he said smoothly, his voice full of conviction. A few sweet words, a few soft glances, just enough to win Risa's trust. She believed him. But was it real? Or just a honey-laced trap that Jackson had carefully set?
Guys, our special potahe for tonight. Fried chick. Uy, halika dito. Ayos yan, ah.
Jackson's true intentions. Jackson took Risa to a party, but it wasn't the private evening for two that he had promised. Instead, they walked into a room filled with his friends, laughter, and loud music. With a wide grin, Jackson raised his glass and shouted, "Tonight is a special party for us." His friends cheered loudly, excitement filling the air. Meanwhile, Risa stood frozen, confused, and uneasy. She turned to Jackson, her voice trembling slightly. "I thought it was just the two of us?" But Jackson no longer cared to explain. Instead, he chuckled and shrugged. "This way, it's even more special. Relax, babe. Just enjoy the moment." His friends began closing in, their smirks predatory. "Come on, Risa, loosen up," one of them teased, pouring another drink. Fear settled in Risa's chest. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but before she could move, Jackson smirked and declared, "Since it's her first time, I'll let you guys have the honor." The room erupted in cheers. Suddenly, hands grabbed at her, pulling her into the crowd. The music blasted louder, the glasses clinked, and drunken laughter echoed around her. Someone grabbed her wrist. Another arm wrapped around her waist. "Let's dance," a voice shouted, dragging her to the center. The group circled around her, their eyes gleaming. Fingers reached for the buttons of her blouse. A voice rang out loud, excited. "Damn, she's sexy." Risa's heart pounded in terror. She had trusted Jackson, but now she realized too late, she was just a game to them. After the horrifying events of the previous night, Risa was covered in bruises. Her face was swollen, her body aching, but despite the pain, she went straight to the police station to report what had happened. In her hands, she held evidence, a video. The officers reviewed it carefully before turning to her with a serious expression. "We can confirm the incident. But before we proceed further, is it true that you were a sugar baby?" Risa bit her lip, lowering her head. She knew she couldn't deny it. One of the officers sighed, his gaze thoughtful. "Only after falling into a terrible situation do you realize. You were like a helpless chick wandering into a den of rats." Risa clenched her fists. "Are you still in school?" another officer asked. She shook her head slightly. "I dropped out a long time ago." The officer looked at her with regret. "Because of a lack of education, you ended up in this situation." Risa swallowed hard, a deep ache settling in her chest. "You still have family in your hometown, right? Your mother is still there." Risa pressed her lips together, her eyes welling up with tears. "Go back to her," they advised gently. "No matter what happens, a mother is always there for you." Those words hit Risa like a wave of reality. She had lost her way for so long. But was it finally time to return home?
Yung mga nangyari sa'yo, huwag ka mag-alala. Sisikapin namin na mabigyan ka ng katarungan.